Operation Epic Fury.
What you're witnessing right now is something the world has never seen before. In just 13 days, President Trump has done what decades of diplomacy, sanctions, and half measures could not accomplish. The Iranian regime that has exported nothing but bloodshed and terror since 1979 is being systematically dismantled piece by piece. And their navy, it's at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. Their air force, it's just obliterated. Their missile factories are in piles of rubble. And their so-called supreme leader, like their fifth one, he's wounded and disfigured and hiding like the coward that he is. And the question the mainstream media refuse to ask is this: what happens when the world's greatest military power actually decides to win? So let me tell you why this matters to you and your family right here at home. For 46 years, Iran has been the largest state sponsor of terrorism on planet Earth. They've funded Hezbollah, they've armed Hamas, and they've killed American soldiers with IEDs in Iraq and Afghanistan. They've taken American hostages, they've chanted death to America while building their nuclear weapons capability to actually do what they said they wanted to do. And every single day that regime existed, you and everybody you love lived under the shadow of their terror. And think about our troops stationed across the Middle East. Think about Israel, our greatest ally, surrounded by Iranian proxies. And think about the price of oil, your gas prices, and your cost of living, all manipulated by Iranian aggression, choking the Strait of Hormuz. And this isn't some distant conflict that doesn't affect you. This is about American security, American prosperity, and American lives. All for the first time in nearly half a century, we have a commander-in-chief willing to end this threat once and for all. And the Ayatollahs gambled that America was weak. Guess what? President Trump just proved them dead wrong. So now while President Trump is protecting America abroad, you need to be protecting your family's financial future right here at home. New numbers out of Washington show inflation is climbing yet again, and that's another direct threat to your savings and your retirement security. And ask yourself honestly, does your dollar stretch as far today as it did 10 years ago? How about 5 years ago? How about just last year? So what does the next decade look like for you and your hard-earned savings? If your portfolio lacks exposure to gold, one of history's most reliable hedges against economic uncertainty, it's time to rethink your strategy. Gold has kept pace with inflation and in many periods has dramatically outperformed. And our friends at Noble Gold Investments make it simple. They'll help you diversify with physical precious metals, even in your IRA or 401k. Right now, qualifying accounts get a free 10th ounce American Gold Eagle just for opening an account. So go to nextnewsgold.com. Again, that's nextnewsgold.com and secure your family's future while there's still time. So now back to Operation Epic Fury, because what Pete Hegseth just revealed will absolutely blow your mind. So here's what the Pentagon just confirmed that has the mullahs in absolute panic mode. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced that not only is Iran's military being destroyed in real time, but their ability to rebuild has been permanently eliminated. And that means every single ballistic missile production facility across Iran has been functionally defeated, every factory, every assembly line, and every defense innovation center. They can't make more missiles because there's nothing left to make them with. And it gets better. We now have confirmation that Iran's new supreme leader is wounded, likely disfigured, and too scared to even show his face on camera. The regime, hopefully, is finally finished. Let's get into it. So we've got from 24 News saying U.S. military makes public video of the latest strike on Iranian regime and military targets after Pete Hegseth said that the Friday will see the highest volume of U.S. strikes yet. Let's check it out. Let's see if we get a little bit bigger. I don't think there's any audio to it. They're just decimating the Iranian military. Getting them. Look at it. Boom. I know the White House has been putting out some pretty incredible video clips. And you just see them just absolutely demolishing every single last one of these. So it says, as the U.S. military unleashed an unprecedented wave of strikes on Iran, targets retired Lieutenant Colonel James Carafano weighs in on what that means for America's future and long-term peace in the region. From Fox and Friends, we've got the President of the United States just bought a decade of peace and opportunity in this region. Retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel James Carafano reacts to the Pentagon's latest update on Operation Epic Fury. Let's see what he has to say.
The reality is the U.S. has already won this war, period, mic drop, end of statement. Iran was the greatest destabilizing threat to U.S. interests in that part of the world. If we stop the war, before this conversation is finished, if the war stopped, it would be more than a decade before Iran got back to where it was a year ago. They're not going to try this again while Trump is president because they'll pound him into the dust. So then, and then 3 years from now, if we all just sat on our hands and nobody did anything and just watched them rebuild, and the Russians came in, the Chinese came in, to get back to where they were with the surrogates, with the missiles, with their nuclear program, that would take them at least a decade. The President of the United States just bought a decade of peace and opportunity in this region.
That means we're safe for 10 years from those guys and all the crazy stuff that they're doing. So when the Pentagon's confidence is soaring, Secretary of War outlines a systematic dismantling of Iran's military might, making sure they can never pose a threat again. From our friends over at Rapid Response 47, from @Secretary of War, we plan to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen before. As of right now, there's over 5,500 strikes that they've completed, and they say that their ability is dramatically decreased. Let's see what Sec War has to say.
Plan to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen before. But it's not just that Iran doesn't have a functioning air force, or that their entire navy is at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, or their missile force is shrinking daily. Even more importantly, they also don't have the ability to build more. That's the most important component I'd like to emphasize today. Soon and very soon, all of Iran's defense companies will be destroyed. For example, as of 2 days ago, Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity, every company that builds every component of those missiles, has been functionally defeated, destroyed. Buildings, complexes, and factory lines all across Iran destroyed. So we're shooting down and destroying what missiles they still have in stock, but more importantly, ensuring that they have no ability to make more. Their production lines, their military plants, their defense innovation centers, defeated.
If that's one thing the United States is very good at, is decimating the enemy's ability to do anything. We've known everything about everything for those guys for as long as there's been an opportunity to learn it. And all we're doing right now is just building strike packages and taking everything out as they pop their head out. So Secretary of War drives the point home by addressing the turmoil at the top ranks of the Iranian regime, where leadership is on shaky grounds and chaos reigns. From Pete Hegseth again, we have... It says, we now know the so-called not-so supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. Let's see.
Oh, the new so-called not-so supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. He put out a statement yesterday, a weak one, actually, but there was no voice and there was no video. It was a written statement. He called for unity. Apparently killing tens of thousands of protesters is his kind of unity. Iran has plenty of cameras and plenty of voice recorders. Why a written statement? I think you know why. His father, dead. He's scared, he's injured, he's on the run, and he lacks legitimacy. It's a mess for them. Who's in charge? Iran may not even know.
You know, I think that's the thing, too. It's hopefully whoever the next person that comes in here, we can get a clean leadership transition. And General Dan Kane highlights the extraordinary achievements our forces have made in just 13 days, guys. We took out an entire country, the best China had to offer and Russia had to offer as far as air missile defenses. Those were gone in the first 30 seconds of combat. So let's see how much more historic it gets. General Raising Kane, in the first 13 days of this operation, our artillery forces have made history. This is an incredibly awesome one. They fired the first precision strike missiles ever used in combat, reaching deep into enemy territory. They even used ATACMS to sink multiple ships, including a submarine, from our artillery. Watch.
The first 13 days of this operation, our artillery forces have made history. They fired the first precision strike missiles ever used in combat, reaching deep into enemy territory. They've used Army ATACMS to sink multiple ships, including a submarine, and they've done all of this with the precision and determination that comes from relentless training and trust in each other and in their weapon systems.
You know, everybody said that the Americans are just clowning on the Iranians now, that we've gone and we've demolished them so far down that they're talking about having a B-17 flying fortress come in there and start dropping bombs because they have no ability to shoot down any of our stuff. And now we're using artillery to shoot down submarines, which is just insane. That an fixed mobile asset that we have, artillery guys, are sitting there on a base and they're shooting rounds off and killing submarines. That's just, I can't even describe how incredible it is. While our artillery forces leave their mark on the Israeli Air Force joins the effort, targeting over 200 crucial sites across Iran, adding the pressure on the regime. From open source intel, OSINT, love those guys, the Israeli Air Force struck more than 200 targets across western and central Iran over the past day. The military said including ballistic missile launchers, air defense systems, and weapons production sites. Let's see. It's going to be another awesome combat strike footage. I think it's incredible how quickly that the Trump administration and other governments are declassifying the military operation footage so we can see in real time what the strikes look like. It's quite literally almost like a video game. It's pretty incredible. Amid these operations, we pause to address a solemn note. CENTCOM confirms the loss of a KC-135 stratotanker in friendly airspace over Iraq. That's a sad story. It was not due to enemy fire. So CENTCOM confirms a U.S. KC-135 was lost during Operation Epic Fury in friendly airspace. One aircraft went down in western Iraq and another landed safely. There was a loss of life. Let's see.
CENTCOM says a KC-135 refueling aircraft was lost over Iraq in friendly airspace during Operation Epic Fury. Rescue efforts are ongoing. There were 2 aircraft involved in this incident. One of them went down. The other landed safely, according to CENTCOM. The military says the cause was not friendly or hostile fire, Brett.
All right, Jackie Heinrich live in the North Lawn. Jackie, thank you. The other attack, authorities.
So according to additional reports on that, 4 United States airmen were killed, and when the plane went down, planes collided and they crashed, unfortunately. But they're doing an incredible job, and it's a dangerous job as well. So as we acknowledge the human cost of Operation Epic Fury, Stephen M. reflects on what experts are calling an unprecedented obliteration of Iranian military capabilities, marking a turning point in Middle Eastern history. So from Rapid Response 47, we've got Stephen Miller, one of our spirit animals. This has been, by every definition, an unprecedented military success, a regime that since 1979 has exported nothing but bloodshed and violence, as Stephen Miller is excellent at encapsulating everything. Let's see.
It's important for your viewers, Jesse, and the American people to know there's never in history been a more total asymmetric one-sided annihilation of the enemy than you are witnessing that is unfolding right now in Iran. Iran has long been feared by all the nations of the Middle East. It's long been believed to be one of the great military powers of the region, and yet the United States, under President Trump's leadership, has annihilated their Navy, has annihilated their missile capabilities, has dealt devastating strikes to the IRGC and their command structure, has taken out, in collaboration and coordination with Israel, their nation's sinister leadership and command structure. It has been a complete wipeout of their capacity to unleash violence on the world. And we are in the process right now of degrading their entire military industrial base so that they cannot resume creating and building these weapons that not only could reach Europe, that not only can reach our military bases, but that someday could reach the mainland United States. So this has been, by every definition, an unprecedented military success against a regime that since 1979 has exported nothing but bloodshed and violence and claimed countless American lives.
And that was their whole point to everything that Iran would do. They just wanted to get rid of America, kill Jews, all these crazy things that they're out there trying to do, instead of focusing on their people and trying to be good and like make their people come up. But here's the truth that the establishment doesn't want you to understand. For decades, Washington's so-called experts told us Iran was too powerful to confront. They said military action would spark World War III. They said we needed endless negotiations, more pallets of cash, another worthless nuclear deal, and every single one of them was wrong. It took Donald Trump exactly 13 days to prove that the Iranian military machine was a paper tiger. What seemed impossible under every previous administration became inevitable under this one. The President of the United States just bought the Middle East a decade of peace. And that's not my opinion. That's the assessment of military experts watching this unfold in real time. This is what happens when America leads. And this is what happens when we have a commander-in-chief who actually believes in victory. So the message being sent right now echoes far beyond Tehran. Beijing is watching, Moscow is watching. Every dictator and terrorist organization on earth is learning the same lesson. America is back and we don't lose anymore. I want to hear from you guys in the comments right now. Do you support President Trump's decisive action to destroy Iranian's military capabilities? Well, yes or no? Drop below. And while you guys are there, make sure you guys share this video with everybody who needs to see what real American leadership looks like. And the mainstream media will never show them the full picture, but we will. If you want to wear your shop America First merchandise, check out at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Also, hit that notification bell because this story is developing by the hour, and you don't want to miss a single update. And this is history being made right now before our eyes. Stay informed, stay free, and don't forget to sign up for the Raw feed. God bless.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.